How we doing? Bless all you folks for coming out tonight. What a surprise. I mean, we got a packed house. Did y'all know we packed last night too? We had to do 2 nights. Is that not the coolest thing in the world? Man. Went on vacation a couple weeks ago. Went on a Boy Scout hike in Montana, 5 days in the Bob Marshall Wilderness with 22 other folks. David Spaw and Noah over there, they were part of our group. I know, David Spaw with a backpack on, but anyway. Great trip, great trip. The scenery is absolutely wonderful and just a great place to go. Before we went, there was 2 crews, and we decided we were going to have a little competition. We were going to do our own little nature discovery. And what we would do is we'd go out on the trail and we'd try to find evidence of animals, whether it's fur or feathers, or take pictures of tracks or pictures of animals or whatever, and whoever had the most would kind of win something. So another good way of identifying animals is with their scat. And for those of you that don't know what scat is, it's animal poop. So we're going down the trail, and I saw this really incredible PPP, which is a particularly perplexing pile of poo. We were kind of gathered around it, trying to figure out what it was. We had seen elk poo or elk scat and deer scat and everything else, but this was kind of weird. It was like 90% hair. It was about yay long or so, kind of like a big dog or something like that. So, you know, I thought, well, I'll scoop it up and put it in a baggie, and we'll take it back, and they can tell us what it is. What? So we got back after our 4-day hike and found out that it was Timberwolf Scat. And I was like, Timberwolf, this is cool stuff. I can't just keep this myself. I have to share this. My wife, Mary Ann, said she wanted something really special to bring back from the trip. I thought, this is it. Well, I didn't want to put it in my suitcase or anything like that, so I just put it in my pocket. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but when I got to the airport security, they didn't really think it was a good idea at all. I mean, I had this baggie, and it's got kind of this hairy brown kind of thing in it, and it's all crumpled up and didn't really look like scat. He was convinced that I was trying to smuggle some marijuana through. I'm like, no, really, Scout's honor, it's Timberwolf Scat. Well, anyway, here, you guys take a look. Tell me what you think. Oh, shit, that's the wrong one. You didn't see that. Fred, did you leave? Fred? Oh. Anyway. Great trip, great trip. How many out here are married by applause? Fantastic. I've been married to my best friend, Mary Ann, for 24 years last month. Thank you very much. Quite a little actress, too, huh? No. Anyway, she's my best friend, and we get along great. I think one of the best things is she thinks that farts are funny. And when you're a flatulent guy like me, and you have all these bizarre sounds coming from your ass, it pays off that she thinks it's funny. I can be in the front of the house watching TV or something, and she'll be way in the back doing her nails or something like that, and just kind of roll over and rip one off, and I just hear this giggle in the back of the room. I'm like, hey, still got it. I like to use what I call the bullet fart quite often. It's named the bullet fart because of its sharp, hard sound. It sounds like a gunshot going off. It's just kind of a quick bang. And that usually catches her off guard. She'll giggle for a little while. My all-time favorite fart, though, is the John fart, or what they call in Europe the prithee fart. It's when you're sitting on the toilet and you build up a little bit of gas, and I'm not sure if it's the shape of the toilet. Do we have any plumbers in here? I'm not sure if it's the shape of the toilet. Maybe something to do with the porcelain or something like that. But man, you rip a good one, you can shake the whole end of the house. Kind of like a tuba or something, you know? My favorite one to do the Marianne, though, is the ambush fart. That doesn't take a whole lot of imagination to figure out what it is. I kind of feel a little bit of pressure. I find a place to go run and hide. And I wait. And when she comes out, I blast her with it. An ambush fart has a little danger to it, though. Because you have to hold it for minutes or, maybe even sometimes hours waiting for the right opportunity. Then you got to hit it real hard on cue, and that, you weren't really made to do it that way. So there is always the possibility that you're going to shart. And you kind of have a confused look on your face, so I'm not quite sure if you know what a shart is. Yeah. Okay, well, a shart's when you try to fart really hard and you accidentally shit your pants. Most of you guys know this one. And you wives, you see our underwear. That's sharting. Okay? No, I don't want... I'm not really a comedian. I just have a funny life. I really do. I don't make this stuff up. I just write it down. I'm an author, not a comedian. I just write it down. So you got to be real careful, though, between a shart and a snart. And a snart is like the Halley's Comet of farting. It only comes around once every 75 years or so, but that's when you sneeze and fart at the same time. You're kind of a little happy and confused all at the same time. I actually one time I actually sneezed, farted, burped, and peed a little bit. It was some kind of really bizarre out-of-body experience, man. Thank you very much. What's that? Oh, did I tell you Marianne thinks farts are funny? I'm getting kind of that age, where I've got to go into the doctor and get things checked that I really don't care to get things checked. And so I had to go in and get a colonoscopy. For those of you that have never had one of those, they wheel you into this really dark room and they get you just tripping wasted on Valium. Got a little Barry White playing in the back. Get you into this room, and then the nurse, do we have any healthcare professionals in here? Didn't we? Why does the nurse always say a little bit of pressure? Why don't you just say this is gonna hurt, man? A little bit of pressure. So anyway, they have to put the tube in there. And I didn't know this till I got there, but they have to fill you up with like 100 PSI of air. I guess it kind of opens everything up so they can see what they're doing or something like that. But man, they fill you right up. It all happens real fast. And then they wheel you out into this room and you look around and there's like 20 other people. And they just had the same thing happen. They're all tripping on Valium and got 100 PSI of air in their tummy. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out 100 PSI of air up there, it's gonna come out. So the nurse parks me in my little parking spot, and she says, "Let me go get your wife." Did I tell you that Mary thinks farts are funny? Well, I think it was because I was so high on Valium, I wasn't quick enough to think about the train wreck that was about to happen. So my lovely wife comes through the door, and I looked at her, and I'm like, this terrorized look on my face, and I'm like, she came in close, and I grabbed her by the shirt, and I pulled her in. I said, "Mary, whatever you do, don't laugh." She was confused, look on her face, and then on cue, all 20 of us broke into this fart fest. Sounded like some kind of bizarre tuba practice or something. She bit a hole in her bottom lip and ran for the door. Okay, round of applause on parents. Who are parents out here? Gotta love kids, gotta love kids. I got a 16-year-old son, his name is Josh. 16, how about that whole driving thing? Who's gone through the driving experience? Yeah, how cool is that, huh? Yeah, not really. It's a different experience. I truly think that we've got an advantage, or we had an advantage when we were younger. I mean, I grew up with motorcycles and mini bikes at 12 and 13, stuff like that. Driving on my parents' car when I was 14, you know, after they went to sleep. And stuff like that. I think we had a lot more opportunity. Nowadays, they take a class, and you have to pay for it. It's not in school anymore. I thought that was kind of weird. But they take this class, they drive a few times, they give them a permit, and then they give them to the parents. Or if you're really a dipshit, you can go online and they can do it, and you can teach your kids yourself. Wow. What crack addict thought of that one? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at all. Absolutely not. My son gets his learner's permit, and we're driving around and everything, and that's kind of an interesting thing. I did find out one thing really cool. You don't even have to wear a seatbelt if you're in a passenger seat with a 15-year-old driver. Your ass will actually hang on to the chair. It just kind of like bites right down on it. And you can go around curves and everything, won't move. And no matter how hard you push on the passenger side floor, you're not slowing down at all. Not one bit. I'll get in there and start using my Jedi mind powers, trying to get him not to do things, you know, like, the curb you will not hit, young Spencer. It doesn't quite work. So I made a deal with my son when he was about 12 years old. We talked about being involved in Scouts earlier. I told him that if he got his Eagle Scout, I would buy him a car. Well, he got his Eagle Scout. That's my moment of praise. I have a captive audience. I can do whatever I want. So we decided we'd go shopping for cars. We drove all over Houston, looking at this car, looking at that car. Hey, what do you think of that? Hey, what do you think of that? He just kept shaking his head. No. What about that one over there? That looks pretty good. No. I'm like, finally, Josh, what is the deal here? Well, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm just never going to get laid in something like that. True story. Can't make that stuff up. I found out that he and some of his buddies formed a club in his school. It's called the VIP Club. Virgins in Peril. I swear, this is real stuff. You can't make that up. He is kind of rethinking this whole sex, women thing. He now believes that there's no such thing as a vagina. No, really, let me explain. He's been alive for 16 years and he's never seen one, so they must not be real. Kind of like the Bigfoot group, you know? Okay, I made that one up. Anyway, Josh is getting a pretty good sense of humor. I don't know where he gets it from. Big fishing tournament that we have down at Port O'Connor, and quite a big deal. And I was telling him that I was going to go this past year, and he was just asking me about it. I said, well, you know, we got this fish camp down there, sleeps about 20 people, and bunch of guys go down there and they go out to dinner and they have some drinks and there's a poker table and pool table and they play games and things like that, and then they go to bed and get up early in the morning and do some fishing. He goes, whoa, Dad, that kind of sounds like Brokeback Bay to me. It's the place where you can look another man straight in the eyes and say, will you hold my rod for me? Anyway, hey, I have one thing. This is just totally unrehearsed and very cool. I heard through the grapevine, and I hope this is true so I don't embarrass myself, but that there was a birthday party here for a girl named Natasha. Oh my God, it's real. So you guys had no idea that this was a construction comedy show and bought tickets and made it here? How cool is that? You have no idea what you're in for. Is that just not the coolest thing in the world? Happy birthday, Natasha. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.